Larry Kudlow, by the way, on set with us, host of Kudlow. He's sitting here waiting. He hasn't breathed since he sat down on set, waiting for this result to come in. Larry, we're going to wait to see what the reaction is when we get the final number, but what's your initial reaction?
It looks to me like it was unanimous from the Republican side. I believe you got every Republican vote. I want to say Mike Johnson, a very smart, cerebral conservative. He's a former talk show host, conservative talk show host. He was also a columnist. He's a young guy. I don't know, this is his third or fourth term, so he's a very young guy. Right. So you got a lot of fresh blood in there. I really like that. He was served on the legal team for Donald Trump a while back. He's a Trump supporter. Obviously, drill. He's from Louisiana.
And their tallies, that the total number of votes cast.
And he has a very conservative voting record, but he gets along. He's an amiable guy, and he was able to, work around some of these personal issues that have plagued the Republican conference. This is all very good. And, it's funny. As bad as it looked yesterday or the day before last week, now you have jubilance, enthusiasm, and momentum. The Republicans have regained their momentum here in the House. That's what's really important.
Larry, you just described the scene. Let's listen in for a second. That jubilation, Patrick McHenry is announcing it here.
Look at that.
Therefore, the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress. The chair appoints the following committee to escort the speaker-elect to the chair. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Donalds. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Hearn. The gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Bergman. The gentlewoman from Washington, Mrs. Rogers. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Fallon. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Molinaro. The gentlewoman from Florida, Mrs. Kamak. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Delbene. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Clyburn. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Escobar. The gentlewoman
let's get back to Larry Kudlow, because we see what's happened. The vote is done. Now the question is, where do we go from here? What's going to happen now that we got a speaker again, Larry?
I'll say it again, because I don't know if it was on or not. With this kind of enthusiasm and jubilation, which did not really accompany Kevin McCarthy last winter, okay? And 220 votes, which was a higher vote than McCarthy got. I love McCarthy, he's a friend of mine, but this is a bigger vote, and it's a lot more enthusiasm. This is a unanimous Republican decision. So, what looked like awful, depressing, can't get anything done a week ago, a day ago, whatever. Now, with this jubilation, momentum changes, okay? It's like a pro football game. You just scored 2 touchdowns going down the field, and you're going into the second half, and you receive. The whole game is completely changed. And that's what Mike Johnson's going to do. And as I said before, I don't know if it was on or not, he is cerebral, conservative, amiable, very important. Louisiana, which is an oil-producing state, conservative record, former Trump legal advisor. He puts all the factions together. He will be very tough with respect to Schumer and with respect to Joe Biden, okay? He doesn't have any baggage. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of energy, and I just love this. I've been waiting for this. Love this, absolutely.
They
100%.
have a lot of work they need to do, Larry. What is the first order of business going to be?
Well, they'll get the funding. Now, by the way, the House has already passed a foreign aid bill that gives Israel about $3.5 billion. But Biden has a new package, and the Senate should pass that darn thing. It's $3.5 billion for Israel. All right, House passed it, Senate's holding it. But they'll probably have to deal with this foreign aid package, the new one, $106 billion. Right. And can I just tell you, it's not going to. They're going to carve it up. Okay, they're going to carve it up as they must. Ukraine is one problem. Israel's another problem, right? The border is a third problem. And they have to look at each one separately before they can make a decent package. And then also, Jamie Comer will restart his oversight investigations. And they've got some serious work there with this $200,000 check kiting scandal.
Yes. I mean, we have...
Not check kiting, I call it.
There you go.
You know, so many things that were put on pause because of this. And we have President Biden who's speaking. We're monitoring. We're not going to listen to him quite yet. But, you know, he's speaking. This is the first time we've seen a press conference since the attack on Hamas. Like you said, there was a pause in Biden investigations because of the lack of a Speaker of the House. Do we think that Johnson, among Republicans and Democrats, can be the one to push those things forward? Can he restart that investigation?
Well,
can he get things done?
Sure. Right away. I mean, the business of the House, which is what you're describing, they will restart right away.
Right, Jim Jordan
They may
will
try
run
to do
with
it
the ball.
today or tomorrow. What's also interesting is here's Biden. The story today was the United States was asking Israel to hold back on the ground invasion. However, I am told, I didn't see it because I was coming in, Netanyahu made an announcement that they have decided to make the ground invasion. So this is a little show of Israeli independence, which I think is absolutely terrific. And the next thing to do is, and you'll see Mike Johnson and others, Joe Biden has got to start drawing a red line with respect to Iran. They are attacking Americans. They're just had there's some a bombing version killed, I think, 30 more Americans. That is an act of war. They have been attacking our ships. They have been attacking our embassies. These are acts of war. And Biden has got to put a red line down and do something, not only to defend Israel, but to defend the United States. That's part of it. These are acts of war, and Biden and his team has ignored them. They've absolutely ignored them.
Yeah, and Larry, you've made the point many times. Economic sanctions, find the ships. It's about the oil.
Yes.
Charles Payne picks up that conversation. Here he comes.